When a man criticizes his own sex for misogyny or abusing women, it is looked at with reverence. Why not? We think this is the right approach towards women from a rational perspective. Although in essence, the man who is criticizing his own sex actually goes against his own gender, right? It is true for a woman also. From the same perspective, whether it is being done to fulfill the right purpose or the wrong one, we are not going to argue about this. Because today, we're talking about something that might feel uncomfortable but is important to understand. The feeling of being treacherous toward your own sex, especially when criticizing women. Of course, this is a sensitive topic, and the goal here is not to blame or shame anyone but to understand why such feelings can arise and how they reflect the complex ways society views gender dynamics. So before beginning our journey, let's break it down.
Hello and welcome to Gunset, a channel for intelligent and curious people like you. Before we proceed, let me tell you one thing. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. And if you have already subscribed, tons of thanks for your support.
What are our opening thoughts? Look, it's common for people, men and women alike, to express opinions about other people, and sometimes those opinions can be harsh. There is nothing wrong with it. But when a woman criticizes their own gender, especially women, it can feel like they're betraying the very people they share a gender with. But why does it feel that way? Let's explore. Because there are social expectations of gender loyalty. First, we need to understand what we mean by treacherous behavior. To be treacherous is to act in a way that goes against one's own group. We often see this in politics, communities, or, yes, even gender. For example, when a woman criticizes other women harshly, it can be seen as a form of self-betrayal. Many societies have historically expected women to support one another in ways that men are not expected to. Certainly there are reasons for that, isn't it? This idea stems from what researchers call gender solidarity. It's a notion that members of the same sex should stick together against outside forces, especially in societies where women have been marginalized. Meanwhile, it's not applicable for the male counterpart because this society is by and large male-dominated. Maybe in this case, some research on gender solidarity might come to our help. Research by sociologist Jessica P. Salerno and her colleagues highlights that women are often expected to support other women, even when they might disagree. When they don't, it can feel like a betrayal. Why does it happen? Actually, this concept, though not always explicit, shapes a lot of societal expectations. The paper Sisterhood or Sacrifice, Female In-Group Favoritism by Salerno et al., 2015, explores this phenomenon, showing how gender expectations shape women's relationships. If a woman speaks out against other women, whether in the workplace or in social media, it can spark controversy because it goes against this unwritten rule of solidarity. By the way, I again repeat there are reasons for that, as women are viewed as marginalized, though that is not true all the way. There are a few exceptions. However, cultural influences really matter. But it's not just about theory. Culture plays a huge role in these dynamics. In many cultures, women are expected to uphold the values of empathy, care, and emotional support. When a woman deviates from these cultural norms, say, by criticizing other women, there can be backlash, even if the criticism itself might be valid. So, when a woman criticizes another woman, especially on issues that deal with gender equality, feminism, or even body image, she may face pushback from both men and women. This is partly because the society she lives in might see her behavior as threatening a unified front, which is often considered important for advancing the rights and welfare of women. By the way, you have heard the word misogyny, the ingrained prejudice against women. However, there is another concept that gained popularity recently. It is called internalized misogyny. What is that? Let me explain a little bit, because here's where it gets really tricky. Because sometimes, the criticism of women doesn't come from men or external sources, it comes from other women. It is treated as an internal threat. This is a concept known as internalized misogyny, where women internalize the negative stereotypes and ideas about their gender that are present in society. For instance, women may criticize other women for being too emotional, too ambitious, or too assertive. This can be a form of self-policing, where women align themselves with the values that society has set for them, even if those values are harmful. Let's take a look at a research paper. In 2017, research by Mara H. Klein and Sarah C. Heine in their paper, Internalized Misogyny: Understanding and Recognizing Its Impact, shows it. The research shows that many women, due to social conditioning, may be critical of women, but they don't fit into the idealized norms. The result? A kind of betrayal of one's own sex, even when the criticism is grounded in real issues. Despite these real issues, automatically the question arises: why does it feel treacherous? This question really haunts us. So, why does criticizing women feel treacherous? It's because, deep down, we are often conditioned to view our own gender as a collective unit. As a result, criticizing one part of the group is seen as undermining the whole. This feeling is rooted in social psychology, where in-group bias plays a role. People tend to favor members of their own group over outsiders. When a woman criticizes another woman, it can feel like an attack on the group itself. This can be especially problematic in a world where gender inequalities are still prevalent. Criticizing women can sometimes be interpreted as feeding into patriarchal structures, making it seem like you're siding with a system that already marginalizes women. In other words, in this scenario, where feminism and women's criticism of other women fit into. Now, let's be clear, feminism, at its core, is about advocating for women's rights and equality. Feminism doesn't require women to always agree with each other. In fact, diversity of opinion is a core part of any healthy movement. But the criticism of other women, especially in public spaces, can often be misconstrued as anti-feminist when, in reality, it might just be a disagreement over how to achieve equality. The key is understanding that it's possible to criticize other women in a way that helps, not hurts, the movement for gender equality. Constructive criticism, as opposed to destructive or dismissive rhetoric, is the pathway to progress. But when criticism crosses over into judgment, especially when based on personal traits, it feels like a betrayal. Finally, let's think of navigating this dynamic. Moreover, what can we do about it? First, it's important to recognize that criticism, because when done in a respectful and thoughtful way, it can be healthy. Therefore, we should aim for dialogue, not condemnation. Second, we must challenge internalized misogyny. We have to recognize that the negative thoughts we hold about other women might stem from the society that has shaped us. Instead of tearing down other women, we can encourage and support one another. Finally, let's remember that our ultimate goal is not to engage in self-betrayal or to be loyal to our gender out of obligation. It's about advocating for fairness, equality, and respect, regardless of gender. In the same vein, feeling treacherous toward your own sex is a complicated emotion shaped by societal expectations and personal experiences. Criticizing women, especially when it feels like you're going against the grain of gender solidarity, can bring up feelings of guilt or betrayal. But as we move toward a more just society, we should strive for constructive conversations. Remember, criticism is not always a betrayal. Especially when it is done with care and consideration, it can be an act of solidarity in itself. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Let's continue this conversation in the comments below. If you like the video, please hit the bell icon to get notified, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. Keep watching Wooden Slate. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye, take care and stay safe.